Hey, what's going on guys? Zinx here, and today I've got a user interface video guide for using ElvUI. Now, ElvUI is what we call a user interface replacement add-on. What this means is that it's basically a compact add-on that just replaces your entire user interface. It can change, well, it can reskin the frames, and for every single NPC or character frame you have, it has its own bag add-on, all sorts of things. Um, these are the add-ons that I'm currently using with this. I have tested it with several add-ons that don't work with ElvUI, and I'll show you one that doesn't work with ElvUI, but I replace one of ElvUI's elements with it, and that'll be tidy plates. But otherwise, ElvUI is a really solid add-on, or UI replacement that I would definitely recommend for anyone who's too lazy to to make your own UI, or you just really like the look of ElvUI. Um, it works really well. They have a lot of elements that you can probably that you find in other add-ons, and the only reason you'd use other add-ons is maybe to find some more lightweight things, or if you just don't like the look of ElvUI. But the main thing about ElvUI is that it's really customizable. There's two UI replacement add-ons on the website where you get it from. That's TuckUI and ElvUI. The difference between the two is that ElvUI is a hell of a lot more customizable. You can customize pretty much every element of ElvUI. So I'm gonna get right in and let's see. Once I actually load in, now this will be once you download these add-ons, this will be the first time you log in the game, right? You're gonna have a whole bunch of stuff in the a whole bunch of windows there. The first thing I'm gonna do is go to the top here. This first window. It says the add-on tidy plates is not compatible with ElvUI's nameplate module. Please select either the add-on or the ElvUI module to disable. What I'm going to do is I'm going to disable the ElvUI nameplates because I want to use tidy plates. I find the tidy plates is a little more visible than the ElvUI nameplates. But the next step is the ElvUI installation. Now this is an automatic installation allowing you to install the mod properly. Wow, I'm getting whispers. You just click continue, set up CVARs. It's really simple. Set up chat. That'll make sure your chats are set up correctly in that window. Enable pixel perfect, stuff. That's for the resolution specifically. Now there's high resolution, low resolution. I'm gonna select high resolution because I have a 1920 by 1080. I'm gonna select physical DPS because that's what I am. And now it's set up in the ElvUI's default config for physical DPS or melee DPS. The icon system I want icons only. These are the buff icons. Okay. Now the next step is this is where shadow and light comes in. The ElvUI shadow and light edit. Shadow and light allows the integration of preset ElvUI configs made by other users. Now, for instance, in the automatic installation, I have a selection between Darth, Affinity, and Repux config. These are all you click one, and it'll configure user interface to what they like, to what they've configured ElvUI to look like. I'm not going to use these. I'm going to use my default. If you want to use them, you can play around with them. Keep in mind, if you do select one and want to go back, sometimes you do have to go back through these menus, back all the way to high resolution, low resolution, and reset your resolution to, set everything back, and then you have to go all the way back and choose a different one. Sometimes it screws up. If I select Affinity's config and then Darth's config can come out completely whack, and I'm not exactly sure why. I think it's just the resolution issue. So I'm not going to select any of them. This is about using just ElvUI with the default. So I'm going to click continue and finish, and it's gonna reload my UI. And I'm gonna move SCADA to the right here for technical support. Okay, that's wonderful. Alright, so now this is all pretty much I've got wild growth on me. Okay. Thank you, Shengunda. Alright. Now in order to enter the config for ElvUI, you either type /EC, or under the minimap there's a little C button here. Right click is show BG text, left click is toggle configuration. Now I have this window over here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go over the shadow and light settings last. I'm just going to go through all the settings that ElvUI has built into it first. So the first thing I'm going to do is go into general, in this first one. You can also select to toggle off the login message. I'm going to keep it there. let's see, auto scale, tiny map, bottom panel. These are all fine for me. I'm gonna go down to XP bar. I'm gonna disable that because I'm level 90. Reputation bar, I don't want. Reputation bar sits at the top of the screen. I don't want that. I normally use my menu. Just so you know, in order to move anything, you can move any of these things on the screen. Open the ElvUI config, and this button over here says toggle anchors. Click that, and you can move everything in the window. I'll move things just now. Let's see. Don't need the threat bar. The totem bar don't need because I'm not a shaman. Media, these are all fine. Just changing fonts and things like that. Skip shadow and light. Action bars. Okay, this is what I want to config now. Now, I've got my action bars at the bottom set up almost the way I want it. There's my main action bar, which is 1 to 6, and then Q, E, R, T, F, and G. And on the left of that, I have 6 buttons, and on the right of that, 6 buttons. Now, the reason I keep the 6-6 split is because with my Razer Naga, I can configure numpad 1 to 6 on this side, and 7 through 12 on this side, and that helps me. Just register with my mind the buttons on my Razer Naga a little easier, and that's a nice little setup for me. Now, what I'm gonna do is microbar. Don't need bar 1. Excuse me, sorry. Very busy, been very busy. Not too much sleep. Bar 2 I'm going to enable. That's the second bar just above my main bar. What I'm going to do is I'm going to change the button size here. I'm going to shrink that down like so. Okay? Now this is going to act as my buff bar, right? This is what, I keep my little buffs here. My blessings, my potions, or not my potions, but my alchemist flask, my food, resurrection, that kind of stuff. Just random utility things. Okay, so now bar 3 and bar 5 are my 2 sidebars there. I want to keep those. Bar 4 is this bar on the side here. Now I don't want that. I don't like having the bar over there. So I'm going to change the anchor point to bottom left, which is the same as my main bars. And I am going to change the buttons per row to 12. As you can see, that'll let me change it from a vertical orientation to horizontal. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to say toggle anchors, and I'm going to drag it along with my pet bar for some reason. I'm going to drag it right just down here, right above bar 2. I'm going to lock that in place. I'm going to change the button size to match, or to be a little bit shorter than, to around about match bar 2. And that's my my cooldown bar. Okay? And that's going to stay in between my 2 health frames, my 2 unit frames for player and target. Now I'm also going to get rid of the backdrop. You just uncheck that to say get rid of the backdrop. Pet bar I'm going to disable. Stance bar I want. That's up the top here. Cooldown text, that's fine. In other add-ons I use something like Telerange or OmniCC to give me cooldown text and things for my action buttons. This is built into ElvUI. There is a range indicator as well as cooldown text on your buttons. Okay. Now there's a whole bunch of text here. I'll get to that in a second. Now I've done action bars. That is perfectly fine for me. Bags. There isn't too much settings I need to go through with bags. The bag is pretty much fine for me. It's a little bit big right now, but hey. Can change the button size a little bit. Yeah, maybe that's fine. Otherwise, bags is fine. If you open your bags, you have 5 buttons at the top here. These are your little, the buttons you use. I think with Tuck UI, you right-click the cancel with the exit button. But here I can toggle my bags, vendor grays, sort my bags. As you can see, I just click a button and it sorts them. You can also, I think in the bag options, you can change the orientation, whether it sorts the bags to have space at the bottom or have space at the top. But anyway, buffs and debuffs. Again, I don't change too much here. I like the way the buffs and debuffs work. My buffs up here and at the top left of my minimap, and the debuffs at the bottom left. They're okay. You can kind of change the size if you want to change the font of them to make them a little bit more, readable. Otherwise, I leave them. Chat. Oh yeah, chat. What I need to do is chat timestamps. None. Okay. So it's already like that. You might have timestamps if you don't like them. This is where you change chat timestamps. You just click none down there. I keep a whisper alert. Chat edit box position. I don't like it being that. I like it being at the top, above chat. Spam interval. Well, yada. Scroll interval. There is a built-in feature to add your own custom textures to the backgrounds of the chat panels, which is very cool. You can change the fonts if you want. I'm okay with the ElvUI font. I actually like it quite a lot. It's very similar to a Calibri font, which I used to have a long time ago, which is very readable, nice and small. Let's see, data text. Okay, data text I'll go into more with the shadow and light options. Nameplates. Nameplates I don't have enabled. I'm using tidy plates. So you'll have to go into the tidy plate settings to change that. Skins, you can obviously choose which frames and which add-ons to reskin with ElvUI. As you can see, my SCADA looks different. It is, it's got like this cool black ElvUI look. You can select that in this frame for skins. There's an add-on skin things. I've got add-on control panel, clique. All these things are skinned. If I press without that, if I press P and open clique, you can see clique is also skinned, just with ElvUI. This is also where you get your SCADA embedding options. So if I click down right at the bottom here, there's an embed settings. I click SCADA, and I'll leave that. Okay, so I embed SCADA, and then I'm just going to reload. And you'll see that my SCADA is now embedded in my right chat panel. Now what I'll do is I'll open these and I'll say skin. Open these. I mean open the ElvUI control, and I'll check this hide while out of combat. And I'm just going to reload my UI again. And I'll just hit this for a little bit. And as soon as I exit combat, my SCADA, this goes back to my chat panel, so that I can concentrate on loot and what's really important in this game, you know? Okay, so I'm going to open this up again. I'm done with skins now. If there is anything you want to change, if there are any frames you want to keep with its default skin, you can obviously work that out here. I'm going to have me some coffee. Okay, the tooltip. The tooltip's very it's sufficient to me. You get enough info out of it. It's very lightweight, very clear, easy to see. You know where it is, just above that right chat panel here. You can obviously change things like the health bar height. If I increase that, the health bar gets a bit thicker. I'll leave it at 8. Yeah, 8 seems fine. Can never hide. Anchor mode smart. That'll be in the top, in the bottom right there. Now let's see. Unit frames. Okay. Unit frames is where you can edit all the unit frames. Obviously, I'm gonna quickly disable pet frame, pet target, because I do not have pets. This is also where you configure your boss frames or arena frames. Now the boss frames and arena frames will pop up on the right hand side here. If you click toggle anchors, you can see where everything is going to be. You can see arena frames and boss frames here. You can also, if I were to, I wonder, can I? No. Yes, I can. If I click boss frames, I can display the frames over here. So that's where the boss frames will appear, and same with arena frames, and they'll look like that. And so obviously you just need to, if you go into, I'm gonna click on 10-man frames. I'm gonna toggle 10-man frames. This is where the frames appear. Now what I do see is that these frames are stretching a little bit into my chat box, and I don't want that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say toggle anchors. And it's with, it appears to be all the frames from what I can see. So I'm going to take my 40-man frames. I'm going to start with those. I'm just going to put them above my chat. And I'm just going to line them up on the same spot. Just like that. and party frames, last one. There we go. Now they're all nicely spaced off the chat bar. Okay. Now you can change various settings like the threat display mode and class color override. Now class color for me, the names, like the health bar is colored by amount of health they have, and class color is colored by names. You can change that. You can also include heal predictions and other such things. Obviously useful as healers, but I'm going to make another video for healing ElvUI, which is a bit different and a bit better than anything I actually tried to come up with. It's actually using another author's setup, but that'll come up after this. Tank frames also pop up. They pop up around top, like left over here. Very easy to discern from the rest of the raid, which is nice. It's all very clean. That's what I like, is that the way the unit frames work, they're all very clean. Now remember, if you're going to be using any spells through your unit frames, you are going to need the click add-on. That is why I have it installed. ElvUI does not have a click function built into it. It is basically grid. Filters, that's fine. Plugins, okay. Obviously profiles, you can work this out. You make a profile for a character, that's fine. Okay, Shadow and Light edit. Now Shadow and Light, as I said, adds extra edits and things that can be integrated into ElvUI that other people have made. Now these data text bars, which pop up, you can see there's one under my left chat, one under my right chat, and they each have a little icon slash info thing that you can hover over and get extra information from. So the Shadow and Light one, the Shadow and Light adds, first of all, you can configure these data text panels, and like add them. I can enable one at the top left. Let's see, DT panel 1, DT panel 2 is next to that, just next to my top panel. What I'm going to do is I'm going to drop down this menu, say top panel, I'm going to disable. And if I were to, okay, my bottom left chat, yeah, I'll take my bottom left chat. Let's see. I will. Firstly, I'm just going to go to data text in my ElvUI options. I'm going to find out. Does it actually say left chat? Oh, it does, sorry. Go into Shadow and Light panels and dashboards. I'm going to say left chat. So that's there. I can change the width of it. But I'm going to keep it like that. You can also enable a dashboard, which gives you durability, bags, FPS, and MS. I'm going to leave that because I don't need that. I have durability and FPS and MS over here, as well as bag space through my bags. I'm going to go to SNL data text under Shadow and Light. And what I'm going to do is find SNL Friends, Guild, and Raid Finder. Now, Raid Finder, I can tell, like, I can say show hide LFR lockout, and I'm going to show loot history for any raids that are selected here. And what this means is that if I hover over the time icon that I have in the bottom right here, it shows me what raid bosses I'm locked out for in LFR, as well as my loot history for them. Okay, and so if you loot something, it's going to pop up saying, you did this in LFR or whatnot, and you got this loot for this world boss and whatnot. So yeah, and it also keeps track of your treasure trove keys, or your loot there. So SNL data text, I'm gonna go to SNL Friends. Now, this is show total friends. That's fine. As far as I know, like these settings are all fine for me. It's not incredible settings that you can go through, an incredible amount of settings that you can do here. But just go through them, and if there is something you want to change, then go for it. Otherwise, I have SNL Friends and SNL Guild, which is better than the normal ElvUI one. So I'm going to go to left chat because I don't need attack power and haste there. I go to my character frame to see that. So I'm going to say left chat. In the leftmost bar, I'm going to click that drop down and click SNL Guild. And in my rightmost one, which is the haste one, I'm going to say SNL Friends. Now if I hover over these, I can see my guild members currently online, and I can obviously click on their names, and there's a bunch of hints saying if I left click I can open my guild panel, left click a line, like I can left click a name and I'll whisper them. And that's, so you get really nice cool utility with these add-ons. Okay, now as that's done. The data tags to me are done. I don't like keeping any at the top here. What I'm gonna do is backgrounds, don't need chat edit box. That there's not much you can do besides these things. Character frame. I don't think I've actually seen this one. Adding extra options to the character frame. I'm gonna try this out. You did nothing for me. You lied to me. There's nothing there. I'm gonna disable. Okay, forget the character frame thing. Unless unless I look more into it and find there's some epic thing you can do. Shadow and Light character frame equipment manager. I like this. Okay, this is where I'll have to reload again. But this is whereby you can set up so that every time you change a spec, you change your spec to your primary or secondary. It will look at equipment sets that you have in your equipment manager and be able to switch them. So I have DPS and healing. So I will go to Shadow and Light, Equipment Manager, Primary Spec, I'll say Equip Healing Set, Secondary Spec, say DPS Spec. Okay, and that will be, done. That's when I'm in Healing Spec, I'll be in Healing and whatnot. Okay, the Farm Bar, I'll enable that, but I'll reload later. That's just when you get onto the Sun Song Ranch, you get an extra bar, which allows you to see your seeds and use various tools easily without having to dig in your bags. Loot Announcer, obviously, if you're a raid leader or master looter or whatnot, you can enable this to auto-announce the loot to chat when you actually loot the boss. I am not raid leading or loot mastering right now, so I'm gonna leave that disabled. Minimap coordinates, I don't enable. Minimap buttons, I enable, but not for these. There's another button which I will keep there, which is my WoW Instant Messenger, but I will disable other add-on buttons. Okay, raid flares, I'm going to enable, and you'll see that pop up in the middle of my screen there. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to say direction down, and whoops, I wish I could type. And I'm going to say toggle anchors. I'm going to drag my raid flares to there. I'm going to lock that. Okay. Raid marks is fine because I use other buttons to put raid marks down or on enemies. UI buttons, you don't necessarily need this, but it does give you a little bit extra utility with this thing. Now, it adds another menu here, which is another C like that to open ElvUI config, an R for reloading UI, M to toggle anchors, that's move UI, B to open up your boss mod configuration, so that works with either DBM or bigwigs or whatnot, then an A for the add-on control panel. Now keep in mind, by the way, this does not mean that there is an add-on control panel built into ElvUI. These like boss mods and whatnot, they're just ways of accessing that config. So I can just press the A to access my add-on control panel add-on. But I'm going to say move UI. I'm going to move that around about here. But first thing I'm going to do is button position horizontal. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach that to the bottom of my mini-map, so it's just neatly in place over there. Unit frames, that's fine. Import options, I'll go into now. Okay. Yes, I'd had another way of going through if I type /xct. This is the combat text ElvUI add-on I have. It's very busy. If you look at my screen now, there's a bunch of stuff going on everywhere, and it's if you had to go through that in an actual fight, you wouldn't be able to see anything. It's just terrible. I did have another setup, which took me a while to do, but if you just go into /EC, go to Shadow and Light, import options, affinity, okay, select Ortho Affinity, import options, add-ons, import all. Okay, what this is going to do is going to set up your combat text as well as give you a neat little SCADA thing going on. Or recount. I haven't actually tried it with recount, but anyway. Basically, I had this set up so that I would just had my DPS going over here, like on the right hand side. Just neatly flush against the side of the screen. And, you know, that was just neat, out of the way, clean, you know, not too much going on, not busy. And that was, you know, I liked the way that happened. After doing all that and working through that, I then realized that after I used or imported Affinity's stuff, it looked the same, just had a different font. So it had the same thing going on there. As you can see, it's just nice and neat against the side of my screen. So that's just a really fast way to do it. Just import Affinity's add-ons, and you'll see my SCADA is in combat split between half of the window is damage and half of it is healing, which is amazing. It's very awesome. So go for that, just import Affinity's options. If you do need to customize the combat text things, like for instance if you wanted to change the font, then you know, you just type /xct and you can go through xct frames. You can toggle the frames to move them around. I'm going to move loot and money down here. And I'll tell you, I'm going to take away incoming damage. I'm going to take that away because I have other ways of finding out my incoming damage. So, toggle frames. Now I just have my loot and money, which will pop up here. Which isn't necessarily important. I just keep it for out of rating instances. Incoming healing, don't need the rest. I had disabled everything else. Basically just outgoing damage and criticals and loot and money. The rest of it I don't need. Like class combo points I don't need because I'll be using a weak ores string for that. Now keep the spam merger on. Let's see. And that's about it. That's what I wanted to do. Now, if you do want to change the font, obviously you go down here, and you can you can enable floating combat text as well if you like. What I am gonna do is personally I'm going to disable the outgoing damage that pops up here because I find it to be a little bit of an you know, like a distraction. So I'm perfectly okay with you know, not having the combat text. I think that's about it. To top it off, you can go into the import options, and let's see. I'm gonna take import options. You can select an author if you want, like Affinity, for example. If you are not aware, Affinity is a Blood Legion raider. You can go into filters, right? You can select your class if it's here. He doesn't have any filters for Paladin, so I'm just gonna say select general filters and import those. And you can go to the other authors and see if there is one for class specific filters for you, but otherwise not terribly important. And yeah, that's basically it. That is the melee DPS setup for ElvUI. And yeah, no, I think that's about it, yeah. So I have my action bar set up, my unit frame set up the way I want, my chat is working, my SCADA is working. I am using tidy plates because it's a little clearer than the ElvUI, you know, the ElvUI nameplates. You can more easily see like your own debuffs and things that you've placed on your target. Oh, if you're unaware, sorry, I forgot to mention this. Action bars. If you go into action bars, there is, you know, in the menu, if you click action bars here is the keybind mode. If you're having trouble finding that, keybind mode is here. So you can also configure cooldown text, and that is it. Yes. I hope you guys have found this useful in, you know, configuring your own ElvUI layout to your own liking. As I said again, you can, if you want to move things around, like there's my farm bar and whatnot. If you want to move things around, you can. You just click toggle anchors and you can move anything around. Your player frame, these are cost bars. And remember to play around with the default settings between, you know, like healer, physical DPS, caster DPS, and tank and whatnot. See if there's something different that you like. you know, and even then, if you see something like it you like out of a caster layout, you can just go back into melee DPS if you are a melee DPS and configure it around to look like that. If there's just one small thing you need to change. So yeah, that's about it. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope this has helped. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll have more content coming soon, as well as, like I said, that ElvUI healing video and a video on weak ores. Because weak ores is definitely the most useful thing on the planet. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in game. Cheers.